to Friendship International's Bible story. Today the Bible story comes from Genesis chapter 3, verses 1 through 24. Last time we told you about God creating Adam and Eve and putting them in the garden, and they were without clothes but not ashamed, and all of the animals around them, and they had plenty of fruit and trees to eat. They lived in this garden that God had prepared, and as I said, they had a lot of fruit and other things from various kinds of trees to eat, and they were living happily, sharing the wealth that God's garden was growing for them. But Adam had already received a command from God that he shared with his wife Eve that there was one tree that they were not allowed to eat the fruit from. That was the tree of the knowledge of good and evil that was in the middle of the garden. For God had warned them that this is a dangerous tree. Don't eat it, because the day that you eat it, it will cause your death. They were in the garden, and one day Adam and Eve were traveling together, and Eve stopped by, and it happened to be this tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And something caught her attention. She looked, and there was something in the tree that was not a fruit. Instead, it was the head of a snake. And she saw the snake, and the snake was a special snake. It's not like our snakes today, because this snake could talk. And the snake said to Eve, he said, "Oh, you are living in the garden. May you eat of all of the fruit of the garden?" And Eve said, "We can eat of all of the fruit, except for the fruit from this tree. We may not eat it or even touch it, lest we die." And the snake said, "Oh, you won't really die, but rather God knows that if you eat of this tree of the knowledge of good and evil, you will become like God, and you will be able to decide what is good and what is evil for yourself." And Eve looked at the fruit, and she saw it looked beautiful. It was nice to touch, and it was desirable to eat, and she put out her hand and she plucked the fruit, and she took a bite of it. And Adam, who was standing right there, said, "Eve, what are you doing?" And she says, "Oh, this is the most delicious fruit of all. Here, Adam, you have a bite also." And so Adam took the fruit, and he ate it as well. Just the thing that God had told them not to do. And suddenly, they knew the difference between right and wrong, good and evil. And they realized that they were without clothes, that they were naked, and they were ashamed of being naked. And so they took some leaves and they sewed them together to make aprons for themselves to cover up their nakedness. Now at this time, early in the stage of man, God came to visit the man and the woman. Every evening, in the cool of the evening, God would come and he would talk with the man and the woman, because God loved them. And God came looking for Adam and Eve, and they weren't there. And God called out, "Adam, Adam, where have you gone, Adam?" And Adam admitted, "We're here hiding in the bushes, God." And God said, "Why?" And he says, "Well, we saw that we were naked and we're ashamed of being seen." And God said, "Adam, who told you that you were naked? Did you eat of the fruit I told you not to eat?" Now God already knew that this had happened. And he asked Adam that question, so Adam would have to think through it and give answer to God for what he had done. "Adam, did you take the fruit?" And Adam did just what any child would do who's caught in the cookie jar. Adam said, "Oh God, it wasn't me, it was the woman The woman that you gave me, she gave me the fruit, and I did eat it. And then God looked at the woman. And he asked the woman, what is this that you've done? Did you take the fruit and eat it and give some to your husband? And the woman said, oh, it wasn't me. It was that snake that was in the tree. He deceived me, and I ate it. And God looked at the two of them. He was very sad. He said, you have disobeyed me. And I warned you that you were going to die, and because of this, you will be judged. My judgment on you is, Adam, you will no longer freely eat all of the fruits of the gardens, but you will have to go out and you will have to work for your living. You're going to have to till the soil and fight off the bramble bushes in order to get food, and it was only with a great deal of sweat and labor that you will be able to eat. And then he looked at the woman and said to the woman, because you have done this thing, your pain in childbirth will be great. I told you to be fruitful and multiply, and you will, but every child that you bear will be painful for you. And then he looked at the snake. And he said to the snake, from now on you will no longer be up in the trees, but you're going to crawl on your belly for the rest of your days. And I will see to it that there will come one of the children of the children of the children of this woman, and he will come and he will crush your head. And you will be able to bruise his heel, but he will kill you. And that is the story of the first sin, of how Adam and Eve brought death, brought disobedience, brought sin into the world of humanity. And it's going to have some dire consequences as we go forward. But God still had a plan, because he already predicted that there would come a descendant of Eve who would finish the evil work of Satan. That's today's Bible story, found in Genesis chapter 3, verses 1 through 25.